Hey, welcome back to OrmsTV. Now, just before we get too deep into 2022 and all the amazing things it's going to bring us when it comes to the advancements in gear and the new camera equipment we're going to be seeing, we're going to take a look back on 2021 and all of our favorite releases of that year. Now, specifically for the purpose of this video, the cameras on this list are cameras that took the industry forward in some way and changed the way we look at our technology, as well as changing the way we as creators use our gear. So starting off our list, we have a bit of a different type of camera than we're usually used to reviewing on this channel, but one that definitely earns its place on this list. We're talking about the iPhone 13 and its incorporation of cinematic video as well as macro photography modes. This device places itself perfectly in the content creator workspace and is quite an impressive example of how Apple is further pushing their software advancements in cameras. Even though that does slightly take away from the hands-on feel that most photographers and videographers enjoy while using their cameras, it is good to see that Apple is maintaining their software updates and giving us more. This device is the perfect package for content creators and those who need to catch the shot they need with ease. It does also really help that your camera functions as your phone and is a great place for you to kind of start learning and cutting your teeth when stepping into the creative/content creator industry. Next up, we have one of the most thrilling and interesting releases of 2021, and it comes in the shape of the DJI FPV Drone. This release was unexpected and won't necessarily find a huge target market with everybody, but if you're already a drone pilot or have interest in FPV, this is an awesome drone that you should definitely take note of. Now, we understand that one of the drawbacks of the FPV systems are that before the DJI Drone was released, if you wanted to get into FPV, you also kind of had to learn how to fully build and fly a drone that wasn't necessarily the best in terms of its picture quality and the signal that you received back from the drone. DJI has revolutionized the FPV space with a fully immersive experience thanks to the DJI flight goggles. These goggles allow you to see exactly what the drone sees in flight and in beautiful 4K. This drone gives you a shooting experience that is unlike anything else we see, with the ability to spin, bank, and fly in any direction that you could possibly dream. This is the drone for any FPV pilots or those thinking of stepping into the FPV game. With an unmatched shooting experience, this drone is definitely the most high-quality FPV system on the market. And it just shows how DJI is completely dedicated to revolutionizing the camera game. Moving on from the stylized shooting experiences of the FPV to the 100 megapixel beast that is the Fuji GFX 100S. From professional studio shoots to sprawling landscape shots, this camera will not disappoint if you're looking for something with a very professional touch from a camera that promises nothing but the highest quality possible. Another huge upside to the Fuji GFX 100S is that it is a medium format camera that isn't priced as highly as some of the Hasselblads or Phase 1s, which are some of the only other medium formats we see on the market. So this is definitely a very welcome addition to the medium format landscape. Before we jump to our next camera, I just wanted to say that if you're enjoying the content we put out here, then please consider leaving us a like. It really helps us know that these videos are enjoyable for you and helps us make more in the future for you. Sony's newest flagship camera surprised a lot of us with its announcement, but it's been an absolute beast in video and stills production, shooting 8K 30 frames and 4K up to 120 frames. It also has the ability to shoot 30 frames per second in stills mode. We took the Sony A1 out and tested it up against the Canon R3, which is arguably one of the best cameras released back in 2020, and against the R3, the Sony did not disappoint. If you want to check that review out, we'll put the link to it in the description of this video. The A1 released early in January 2021, and a year later still stands as one of the most powerful cameras on the market. Nikon's newest mirrorless system comes in the form of the Z9. This is Nikon's response to the Canon R3 and the Sony A1. This camera comes with new and improved autofocus that sticks to its subjects and provides you a beautiful, crisp image, thanks to its 45 megapixel sensor and the ability to shoot up to 30 frames in stills. This camera definitely deserves its place on our list as it's Nikon's biggest step into the mirrorless game so far, and we're so excited to see it. Now, we haven't done a full review on the Nikon Z9, but if that is something you'd like to see from us, please leave it down in the comments below and we'll definitely get to that for you. One of the biggest releases of 2021 had to come in the form of the Canon R3. and Canon absolutely smashed it with this one. Now, it's no surprise that ever since the release of the R5 and the R6, Canon has absolutely dominated with their autofocus. And that is no different with the R3. The R3 boasts amazing video and stills production, with its video being able to shoot up to 4K 120 and 6K 60 FPS. It also shoots 30 frames per second thanks to its 24 megapixel sensor. Now, we absolutely love this camera and we're lucky enough to get to test it in an environment perfectly set for it. So if you'd like to see that video, we're going to leave that link in the description below. As someone who has always dreamed of owning a Canon 1DX system, the R3 ticks every box. From the robust size of the 1DX to the advancements of the mirrorless camera, the R3 just smashes it out of the park. If you're watching this video and want to see more videos related to videography, photography, gear reviews, as well as film reviews, then please consider subscribing and hitting that notification so you're notified whenever we post content like this. Next up, we have the smallest cinema camera on the market. This thing looks like an A6600 on steroids. And of course, we're talking about the Sony FX3, a video-focused full-frame beast capable of 4K 120 frames that provides you with amazing low-light capability thanks to its 15 stops of dynamic range. We were so excited to see a minimalistic, mirrorless-sized cinema camera come out. Sony absolutely smashed it with the addition of all the cinema function buttons as well as the multiple screw-in options that you have all over the camera for the likes of rigs and external monitors. Sony really gave us exactly what we wanted with this camera. I think that this camera is so well suited for the kind of run and gun filmmaker that we're seeing, as well as being one of the best B camera options for a cinematographer who wants a more compact cinema experience. From one of the smallest cinema cameras on the market to possibly the most revolutionary camera on the market today, we see the DJI Ronin 4D. A camera like the 4D doesn't come around very often, and what I mean by that is when we first watched the video of its release, all of us were shocked, excited, and couldn't wait to get our hands on this piece of equipment. Just before we get into what makes this camera so revolutionary, I just want to touch on its video specs. Now, the 4D shoots on a full-frame CMOS sensor and is capable of 4K up to 120 frames. It also shoots with 14 stops of dynamic range, allowing you to shoot in pretty much any location, as well as having 9 stops of variable ND for when you do need to stop it down. It's not so common nowadays in cameras that we get everything we possibly want in one body, and that's where the 4D is an absolute game changer. With its built-in stabilization arm, this camera guarantees that your shot will look steady and beautiful regardless of your shooting environment or the subject's movements in your shot. The built-in wireless monitoring system, which is accessible up to 6Ks away from the camera, maintains that we can get our shot regardless of where the camera is without having to set up many monitors for the directors or the focus pullers to look at. This ensures that your focus puller can stand with the monitor while you're off with your subject getting your shot, and he can get that focus every time, as well as also being able to apply NDs straight off the screen as well as change your aperture. A phenomenal focus system also will guarantee that you will nail your focus almost every time. As long as you know what you're doing, you can trust the camera. DJI really did give us everything we could possibly want, and I'm truly looking forward to giving you a review on this camera when we get our hands on it. That's our list for the top cameras of 2021. If there's anything we missed or you felt we left off the list, please leave it in the comments down below. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And until next time, cheers.